Hi, this is Fountain, and today I want to do a video on how to stop seeking approval from others. And I feel this is quite an important reminder to us all. Because I see it a lot, and I observe it in myself sometimes too. When we're trying to please other people, we're often seeking approval of ourselves from supposed outside sources. There's the whole thing that we're all connected, separation is illusion, la-di-da-di-da, but I'm just going to use these kind of terms because I feel it's probably the most appropriate for what it is I'm trying to say in this vlog. When we reach out for something that's supposedly in the outside world to give us what we should really be giving ourselves, we then set ourselves up for disappointment. I mean, that's the most simplest way to put it, right? We set up a life where we want to fit in with what others actually expect of us. And I feel super grateful for the fact that the majority of my family and most of my friends, their relationship with me is that they don't place these kind of expectations on me to be something that I'm not. And I really love that, and I'm super grateful for that. And I send so much love to you all out there that personally know me, that are watching this. But I also understand that not everybody is actually in that place in their life. And I also understand that when you're not in that place in your life, it can make things a lot more difficult when you're trying to get away from seeking approval from others. And obviously there's a lot more work that has to be done to changing that story for those people, right? So I just wanted to go through, a really simple sort of 4-step process, which may help you if you want to get more in sync with only seeking approval from yourself and not looking outside for that. Feeling like my hand motions are just... Bear with me, I can talk a lot with my hands. Okay. So when you're noticing that you are seeking approval from others, the first thing that I would recommend that you do is to reflect on your childhood and your early life experiences that may be contributing to your current behavior. It could be something as simple as maybe the way that your relationship with your mother, or with a teacher, or with someone else. And that can really actually have a lot of impact on someone and their development. When you're young, like a child, there's a lot of science that's been done on this. There's particular age brackets in your life where you're super absorbent with the outside experience, supposed outside experiences that you have, and how that actually sets you up for particular parts in your life, and how you then are going to perceive many things that you and supposed others do in your life. Don't need to go too much into that, but that's just to give you an idea as to why you should look at that. Now, the second step is to get used to rejection and to learn about how that makes you feel, and try and use that in a way to actually push your limits. Because often the reason that we're obviously seeking approval from others is, we want to please them. We don't want them to reject us. But if you want to live more in alignment with your truth, then you are sometimes going to be supposedly rejecting them, and it's also going to push your limits to do that. Now, the third step that I would recommend to look at would be to obviously embrace the growth mindset. And when you prioritize learning and improvement, you then free yourself from what others' approval is. You're more focused on what is it that you're here to do, what joy, what gifts, what things are you here to provide to the world, without all the expectations of what others think that should look like. And then the last one I want to talk about, the fourth one, is focusing more on the process, not the outcomes. Because when you focus on the outcomes, then you're setting yourself up to place your word, you're worthy of that thing on the external standards. And that can sometimes be out of your control. So if you need to get used to, enjoying the process of doing something, because that allows it to change, and then it also opens up the doors for more outcomes, and also changes your perspective on what those outcomes have to be, which then obviously just kind of frees you from this whole point of view of how, you know, you're having to please each other. And obviously this comes up a lot within work situations, right? It's like you've got this project you're working on, this is what the outcome is, and they often it's the focus on the outcome, but sometimes the outcome gets changed, and like I said, it's not always in your control, and then you feel like this level of disappointment or this kind of level of like even depression of like, oh, this is not what I expected it to be, and I held my whole value just on that outcome. But if you just enjoy the process of like working in the team or working through different formulas or whatever it is that you're doing on the project, and just learning and getting really getting a lot of joy from that learning of the process of how to get there, then, you know, does it really matter too much about the outcome? Yes, of course, your boss will tell you that it matters. The outcome is very important, but who knows, the outcome might be different than what your boss expected, and it may actually even provide more, you know, so there's even a potential of the outcome being even more significant and more beautiful. And you know, if it's, you know, for a profit thing, it might even be more profitable because you're not focused on the outcome, you're focused on the process, and the outcome will be what it needs to be. So yeah, this is basically, I guess, my 4 tips on how to let go of trying to seek approval from others. And I guess I just want to remind you, at the end of the day, there's no person that you should be, you know, there's no person that you need to be answering to more than you need to answer to yourself. You know, your friends or your family or whatever, your workmates, your boss, even the community, they may have an expectation of like, this is how your life has to be, or this is how you have to do a task, and they'll generally have good intentions because they think that's the, you know, the narrative of how it's always done, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're feeling called that it needs to be done in a different way, and of course as long as it's in line with like ethical principles and you're not doing, you know, conscious harm to others, you know, you could then be creating new pathways and new narratives for people to do things in different ways, but still brings forth obviously a lot of joy and a lot of like really good connection and community with that. So yeah, that's basically my vlog on how to not seek approval from others. And I do understand there's lots of different techniques for this, and you know, I just wanted to keep this as simple as possible. You're more than welcome to leave your comments in the comment section down below. You can also contact me through various social media platforms, and those are in the description down below. And I will see you in the next vlog.